Thank you. I am honored. That was very touching. Greeting to honorable educators, parents, graduates, students, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a bit nervous because it's been a long time since COVID that I've seen so many wonderful faces. It's great, but it's a bit nervous. We all have stories to tell. I'm honored to stand before you to share mine today. My tale is a Cinderella story. Before I opened my eyes into the world, war had dug its vicious claws into my beloved motherland, Afghanistan. Freedom was nothing but a dream, a bedtime story. Perhaps I heard the echo of blasting bomb before I heard myself crying. I was born in Kabul and grew up in the northern region of the country. In 1998, when the Taliban invaded Balkh, my family and I skipped to Pakistan, but the evil reached across the border when a Talib sympathizer tried to force me into a polygamous marriage. The marriage proposal was made at a gunpoint, so running was my only option. My sister and I were still young girls. She has a dry sense of humor. She said that the Taliban's proposal isn't really exactly romantic. I told her the whole thing was a death sentence. So whenever we skipped, we had to cover our faces with veil, burqa, and I hated that because it's like being inside of a portable prison. And I would argue with my parents. My mom would completely avoid the topic because she hated being mummified. And my dad would try to comfort me with a comment saying, "It covers your face," which would launch 1,000 ships. When the Talib showed up on our doorstep, my sister noted that your face did not launch the 1,000 ship that Dad was talking about, but it did bring a Talib with 10 wives to the doorstep. Yay! I know. I miss her very dearly. My family is scattered now, living in exile. The Taliban has issued fatwa, death threats, against us, as they do for anyone who stands for progress and democracy. My sibling and I flee to the Western world, seeking asylum. We're lucky enough to find it, and we're eternally grateful. After all, many Afghans forced to flee their home have never been seen again. Amnesty International reports that about 2.6 million Afghans are refugees, and many more are unregistered asylum seekers. To avoid the virtual death sentence of being married to a Talib, I had to leave my family. In quest for freedom, I moved to India, where the Canadian government sponsored me. I earned my citizenship in 2006. I stand here before you as living embodiment of the compassion of so many individuals and institutions. I thought the dream to live free and have a great life had come true. And then one day, in 2009, I took a tumble down some stairs. As my body recovered, I felt as if my life had never stopped falling. The injury I sustained left me immobile and my mind like an empty space where my courage was lost. Whenever I was able to close my eyes, I drifted into the dark corners of my mind, still haunted by war memories. The chained dragons threatened to unleash and incinerate. I had memories of September in 1998 when the Taliban slaughtered almost 3,000 innocent people in my hometown. My mind unwound the horrific scenes like a silent movie. Unburied bodies, my school, my home, reduced to smoking pile of rubble and ash. What happened to the living, what I witnessed, I won't talk about it today. So 2009, I'm unable to move, imprisoned in bed. I would awaken only to fall to the bottom of the stairs again, where I would see snapshots of suppressed memories of being assaulted as a child. Pain was my constant companion. The past cast a shadow over my present, and I felt frozen in time. As time passed me by, my future was obscured by fear. I was lost to the world, and my purpose was lost to me. A few years passed by, during which I took pride in not asking for help. Isolation had turned into desperation, and I had turned to Cheeto chips for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. When I was diagnosed with allergies, I immediately thought about not being able to eat the Cheetos. I cried. This was the first time I cried since my accident. Early one morning, another ordinary day, I dragged myself out of the bed and looked outside. The sun hadn't come out yet, and the moon hadn't disappeared. I turned on the television, and I heard the news of bin Laden's death, the death of the leader of Al-Qaeda terrorist group. I sat for hours, motionless and emotionless. Then my feeling of revenge turned into hollow. In my core, I was wrapped up in fears, floating directionless. It suddenly dawned upon me. I abandoned myself at the bottom of the stairs where I had fallen. Years of being bullied had contributed to self-doubts. I was afraid to stand up again. I was afraid the world would see real me, isolated, voiceless. Yet, not broken. Down but not out yet, I was here. I was in Canada. I stand here before you today because Canadians paid forward by giving me a second chance to live free. 9/11 was the very day that I got the news of my sponsorship from Canadian Embassy in India. I realized that I was not brought to Canada to never fail. I was already accepted by the Canadian Constitution, which simply valued me as a human being. As human beings, our journey of life is about progress, not perfection. It didn't matter how hard I had fallen. What mattered is the manner in which I would rise again. I needed help. I needed to find my place in the world. I needed to rediscover my purpose. To do so, I decided to choose faith in humanity over fear and rejection of failure. So I turned to the only miracle which always nurtured my mind and my spirit: education. Education has been the light to help me find my path whenever I feel at loss. I decided to put down the sword and pick up my pen. I went back to university. With the help of extraordinary educators, I gained a better command of English language. Canada gave me the freedom to express my voice, which was silenced by the Taliban. I started to write. Bard on the Beach, a theater company, gave me an opportunity to write my first play. My voice was unearthed. Where my isolation ended, hope began. The desperation I had felt started to evaporate as inspiration took over. From 2012 to 2016, I visited Afghanistan to research and study the current situation of Afghan women. I video documented women's voices from different walks of life, including those in remote areas where aid workers and outsiders are not welcome. December of 2019 was my last visit to Afghanistan to complete a project concerning women's mental health. During this pandemic, isolation is a concern. I know what it can do to an individual mind since I had experienced it. Aloneness or solitude. Aloneness or solitude can be a powerful tool for reflection, but when individuals are in the grip of isolation, the experience can be fatal. Compassion is neither the cure for COVID-19, nor can it provide physiological relief. But it is the key to unlock the door of hope. Where hope lingers, sickness and fear cannot thrive. I stand here today as reflection of reality. Humanity's efforts are not a lost cause. When human beings are given opportunity, they don't perish. They forgive, they thrive, they live, they pay it forward. That's what I intend to do. No one journeys alone, as my mentor, Arvali, says. I certainly haven't journeyed alone. I found home among my allies, my mentors, educators, and institutions who are striving to pay it forward. With the help of a few friends who are my new families in Canada, I found a nonprofit to empower women and youth. My motherland, Afghanistan, is always in my heart, but my home is Canada. The haunted memory of war, which was like a chained dragon to the corners of my mind, no longer incinerate me. It is now the dragon I ride. It is the source of my strength, making me who I am today. I wouldn't be standing before you today if compassion wasn't in humanity's core, coupled with strength to pay it forward. Mulgrave School, thank you for giving me the honor to be among you today and share my story. Millions of my people are torn apart by war, have no voice. For decades, they have been displaced, exiled, killed by the Taliban. No one knows their names or their stories. They are statistics lost in the pages of history. I appreciate the visit with students. As I walked through the hallways of the school, I could feel the energy of your diverse culture, the brilliance of your education, both laying a strong foundation for future leaders. Parents, I am privileged to be part of the celebration of your loved ones. Graduates, I'm honored to share and celebrate your success today. I look upon your bright faces and I see the reflection of your hard work. You are ambassadors of Mulgrave School and representative of your honorable families. No doubt that you will pay it forward as you start your new adventures. Today, your high school journey ends. When one journey ends, another journey begins. High school is behind you. The world awaits. No pressure. Congratulations, class of 2021, on your success. Don't forget to have fun along the way. I thank you. Oh.